Hello everyone, I'm home. Welcome back. Today's going to be a nostalgic tour of my home and telling you a few things that I did getting ready to prepare for Christmas. I had a few tears this week. Some really emotional things happened. I'm just an old sap. I'm sitting here by my Christmas tree in my bedroom showing you some of the TV art that I put on when I'm in my room and folding clothes or not watching a YouTube video. Some of the art that they have is just beautiful. It looks like you have a painting on the wall, and some of them have the frames around them. Now, this year I put my nativity tree in my bedroom, and I added some pink balls this year. I have mostly orange and gold. I haven't finished it yet, but this is pretty much what it's looking like. And there's my nativity on the floor in front of the fireplace. I've had that one for several years. And when you get an Arnett Santa, they send you some greeting cards. And I framed one of them in this little Dollar Tree frame. And at the bottom of it, it has this little bracket to put something. So I just took off the back of the card and put the Arnett Country Store in the frame. And I put it on that little tree to show you how cute it looked. And remember my Santa Claus tree skirt that I tea stained? It turned out okay, but not great. So it was a real nice heavy felt, so I cut it into strips, and I'm making dust covers for my Swiffer mop. And I got quite a few, and it worked out great. And then my Santa Claus poster that I had this broken mirror in an old frame that had a cardboard backing. It's real old. It's been in the garage forever. So I cut out the shape of the Santa head, and I attached him to the cardboard. And you know me, I can't leave well enough alone. I had to go ahead and tap him with some dark stain. I used Early American. And when I put it on the cardboard, it made the corrugated part of the cardboard pop out. But once it dried, you couldn't see that. And it turned out beautiful. He's just glued to a piece of cardboard. And I put him up over my pie safe in the kitchen. And I just love him. And that frame is plastic. I picked it up like it was going to be real heavy, and it was plastic. But it doesn't look plastic, and he looks really pretty up over my Santa Claus collection that's in my pie safe. I did locate the picture of my brother and I in front of my grandma's little tree. This is her beautiful little pom-pom aluminum tree that we sat and stared at for hours. I tried to take some pictures of my tree with the sun shining in on it so you could see the sparkle of it this morning, but it doesn't show up too much in this picture. But as I was looking for those pictures, I found this one of my brother and I was all happy, and my brother's screaming his head off. But in his defense, he was nude, and he was sitting on a little wicker chair, and it probably hurt his bottom. But I was looking in the background there at those elf stockings that we had. Oh my gosh, to have those again. I don't even see those in thrift stores or antique stores anymore. And if I had these old cards, I was getting all sentimental about this stuff. My mom kept that stuff. There's my brother. He was Mom called him pissy-eyed in this picture. She put the tree, I don't know if you can see it in the background, but it was in the playpen. And this is my great-great uncle Edward in front of a house near Christmas time. And I was just looking through my old pictures, wondering how they celebrated Christmas in those days. I mean, it had to have been a much, much simpler time. Uncle George used to like for my mom to give him a box of chocolate-covered cherries, and she would always give him a box of stationery because he loved to write letters. And this is my dad, and his baby book tells a story from my grandma about every gift he ever got as a child, so I know what he got. And I'm in the Dollar Tree the other day, and I found this little toy where you get the rings and you push a button and they go on the little pieces. My brother had that when I was a kid, so I bought that and did it. And then I found this little Heidi book at Goodwill the other day. I had this book when I was little. It was a newer version. This is a 1938 version, but I love that book. So, and it's in pretty good condition for being so old. And I just tucked it under the tree because it had some red on it. And I thought it looked Christmassy. And it brought back a lot of emotions. Okay. I have never gone down the hot cocoa bar road. I just have not done it. I see all the cocoa bars that they have on Pinterest, and everybody on YouTube has them. And they'll actually say out loud, okay, today I'm setting up the cocoa bar. Like, everybody has to have one. Well, I'm in the Dollar Tree the other day and I see this sign that says chocolate wishes or Christmas wishes and hot cocoa kisses. And it was so cute. And went to the next aisle and I saw these mugs that looked just like the mug in that picture. And I thought, okay, Marcy, make you a hot cocoa bar. Just do it. Everything in that store was leading me towards a hot cocoa bar. So I got out my little wooden cake stand that my friend Rosie gave me, and I started putting the stuff on it. I put the sign and the Dollar Tree candle and the little cups. And then I had found this little candy container at a thrift store, and I stained him so he's a little antique-y looking, but he looks pretty old. He comes apart. And his head bobbles like crazy. I mean, you don't even have to make waves when you walk past him. So I thought he would look cute on the hot cocoa bar. And I put him on there. And it was getting a little crowded. This was the little creamer that's ironstone. I thought I would put my hot cocoa in. And then, like if I'm having company, And then my husband found these at the Dollar Tree the other day. They're Smarties, little mini candy canes, and they're really good. They're small. So I had another little ironstone cup, real tiny. So I put those little candy canes on there and some little silver spoons that I also got at the Dollar Tree. They're just plastic, but they are so cute. You get 24 in a packet. And I thought, well, those would look cute if you dipped them in chocolate and sprinkled them with some peppermint. You know how they do. They go all fancy with these hot cocoa bars. And then I put all that together and I found a little creamer and put some marshmallows in it. Put a few little ornaments on it. Mine's not near as fancy as these girls on YouTube. And that's what it looked like with the red mugs that matched the sign. Well, then I remembered I had these glass mugs that I bought at Dollar General several years ago, and I only have 3 left because I broke one. But I set those on there to see what they would look like. And I had some red napkins, and I set it kind of in the corner of my countertop. Then I thought, well, move it all over to my little footstool that I have at the other end of the counter. So I dished it all out on this, gave us a little bit more room. And it looked really cute, and I thought if I had company, I would set that up, and maybe somebody would want a cup of hot cocoa. And then I changed it to my glasses, my glass mugs. They are really pretty, coming from the Dollar General. I think they were $1 back then. I got those several years ago. And I had my little snowman back there in the back, so I put the cake stand over there and rose that up and put the sign over here, trying to just make it look a little bit less cluttered. And I just moved it around different ways to show you guys how I could style it. Then I thought, you know what? Go across the kitchen to where your big breadboard is, noodle board, and put everything over there. Well, that's where I keep all my spooners, so this isn't going to work. But I added a little tin that had chocolate chips and peppermint pieces in it. I mean, I'm all decked out if anybody comes to my house and wants hot cocoa. And then I put my mugs over there. And then I put, well, at this point, I don't even have hot cocoa in that yet. I'm just practicing, guys. And then I did decide that the little snowman needs to be on any hot cocoa bar that I decide to do in the future. But here's the deal. I think they're wonderful. Don't get me wrong. They're great. But I was raised up without a hot cocoa bar in my house, and my sons were raised without one, and we drank a lot of hot cocoa, and we all turned out fine. I think it's great. I think it's a cute idea. The marshmallows here are getting stale at this point because I'm redecorating it so many times. So I don't know if I need a hot cocoa bar or if I need therapy. I mean, I don't know. Is there a decorator's rehab somewhere? But I spent entirely too much time making up this little scene for you guys. So I ended up just putting my little Santa Claus back on the little footstool. And this is my book that's on my easel. It's the Hallmark Holidays. It's an older book. Then, remember I showed you this Christmas Memories book by Susan Wagner that my nephew gave me? Well, I'm in a thrift store the other day, and I found another one by her called It's a Wonderful Christmas, and it's another nostalgic look at Christmas. And while I'm in that thrift store, I look at albums because I love them, and my son is starting to go down an album avenue. He's wanting albums, so I gave him my record player, and he's been collecting some of the old albums. and I saw this paper roses, and would you look at this dress that Connie Francis has on? This is, I think albums are art in them with, they're just art. And then Andy Williams, you're always going to find Andy Williams at the thrift stores. I think him and Perry Como sold the most albums of anybody. There I found 2. You haven't heard Moon River till you've heard it on a record. And then Engelbert Humperdinck was one of my mom's favorites, and I didn't get the infatuation until now. His music is wonderful. I did purchase this one because my mom had it when I was a kid, and we listened to it a lot. I purchased this one because every song on it was good, and the album was like brand new. It still had the plastic on the cover, and of course Dean Martin. Christmas is not Christmas without Dean Martin. And then I'm at the Dollar Tree the other day, and they have vintage looking Hallmark cards. I thought this primitive snowman was just adorable. So I bought a couple of those, and I hung this one on the side of my pie safe. And this is at Dollar Tree. They had the big ornaments that said Merry Christmas, and I'm making a basket for somebody. I thought that would look pretty. Then at the Dollar General, I found this little plastic Christmas tree, and I've seen these in glass and metal many places, many times, and they're expensive. And I thought, well, this one, if I'm going to set it in the bathroom, if it falls off on the ceramic tile floor, it's not going to break, and it just looks like metal or glass. It's beautiful. So as I'm walking down the streets of Watseka the other day, the old town that I used to go to when I was a kid with my mom, grocery shopping and Christmas shopping, I noticed they did have some decorations, and their windows were decorated really pretty. It was snowing really hard, so I didn't stay out too long, but they're not decorated like they were back in the old days, but these people were trying, and they were pretty. They had trees and Santas, and Mom used to take us there, and we just loved it. And the snow was coming down so hard. And guys, I don't know what's going on with the snow, but the snow is not snow anymore. These were like little styrofoam pellets that would not melt. It was weird. Then I had this big scarf that I had found one time thrifted, and I've used it for a tablecloth many times. And I had a couple of friends over for lunch the other day, so I started with that well, it's not a tablecloth, it's a scarf. And I used my Red Transferware salad plates on top of my big, kind of embellished around the edges ironstone, and used a little bit of plastic greenery that I got at Joann Fabrics, and I used my Anchor Hawking swirl tumblers and my Crystal d'Arcs tall tumblers for water, and some of my thrifted pieces. I put a little Santa at each place setting, and the girls just thought it was wonderful. It had snowed that day, and we had the window right next to us, and you could see the snow coming down, and it was just a beautiful afternoon and a wonderful lunch to catch up with some friends. And I made braised short ribs, mashed potatoes. This is what this skirt looks like hanging down off the edge. And I went ahead and left it on the table for a little while with my thrifted bouquet. And then I put my sleigh on it to see what it would look like. But we had a really nice lunch, and it was wonderful. So I'm wrapping presents yesterday, and I turned on the Homecoming, and I cried 6 or 7 times. And at the end, when they all say goodnight for the first time, because this was the first time before they made the Waltons TV show, I cried, I sobbed like a baby. So I hope you guys are all enjoying all the feels of Christmas and all the sights and sounds and taking time to relax and enjoy it a little bit. I sat on my bed and wrapped presents and watched the Homecoming and looked at different pictures of TV art, and it was wonderful. I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for joining me and being part of this adventure. And I've got some really fun stuff in the next video, so don't miss it. And please know that I love you from the bottom of my heart.